Our motoring tip of the week concerns fuel economy and just how drastically it can change with changing driving conditions and ambient temperatures. Now, this morning I was in the office of Sal, my tire supplier. He does all my installs, and he was telling me that the family car had been on a recent trip. The family had gone to Florida on a driving trip, and he was telling me that when he's at home here, he gets about 490K consistently, 490K out of a full tank of fuel. And on his trip, he was getting 560K and higher on every tank of fuel. And he consistently fuels up at the same interval, the same level. So he had a pretty good baseline on what he was talking about. Now, he also told me that as soon as he crossed the border, because fuel is so much less expensive in the US, he put premium fuel in this vehicle. And he was still fueling up for half the cost of here. Now, his question to me was the premium fuel the difference between getting 490K out of a tank and 560? Well, that 70K improvement is probably a number of small factors, and the difference in the fuel would have been a factor, but a small factor. The biggest factor for him would have been the fact that he's now doing all highway driving, no cold starts. So if you look at that 490 kilometer tank, he probably did 10 or 15 warm-up cycles, and that's where your engine's most inefficient and wastes fuel. And if you're sitting idling in traffic, stop-start driving, 0 miles per gallon, that brings your overall fuel economy down. These tanks that he got 560K out of, he was rolling through on the highway driving to Florida, 24-hour drive. So that's his biggest factor. Now, there's 100 other things that can influence the fuel economy in your car, from low tire pressure. Well, Sal's in the tire business, so we know his tires he wasn't leaving on underinflated tires or ever driving on underinflated tires. But there's many things. The motor oil that you're using, the state of tune of your engine, road conditions. If you're driving through slush and snow and you've got wheel slippage and trying to plow through snow, that hurts your fuel economy. And the ambient temperature has a big factor, a big negative factor. When the ambient drops, your fuel economy drops with it. In the summertime, when it comes back up, your fuel economy comes back with it. So those are huge factors as well. But you know what? These higher gas prices are good for one thing, and one thing only as far as I'm concerned, and that's the fact that we're now starting to think again about our fuel economy. So, consider how much fuel you're dumping through your vehicle, and if you've got constant conditions and your fuel economy's gone down, you've probably identified the fact that you've got other problems, and you need to address those. But remember, fuel economy is going to fluctuate drastically with your driving conditions, the amount of weight you've got in your vehicle, ambient temperature, etc. There's a lot of factors. Keep tabs on all of them and make sure that you're playing the fuel economy game, and all those ones that are positives, try and repeat them and try and eliminate those negatives. That's your motoring tip of the week.